Hello, my name is Cheryl Sanders, and I've been in the educational field for 16, 17 years as a school teacher, educator, administrator, working with at-risk kids, and I am in the process of starting my own community school. Well, I was an educator at Harris County Department of Education. I was the high school science teacher. I taught biology, chemistry, IPC, and physics. I know that some people don't enjoy the at-risk kids, but I did. One of the things that you have to know about that population is, and for this particular school, it was 98% African American males. They came from environments where one young man was always angry. And finally, we did a staffing with all of his teachers and the grandparents, and we found out that his mom was a prostitute for the apartment that he was living in, and the management took the door off of the apartment, so he didn't have a door on his apartment, and because mom didn't pay the rent, and so they were trying to force her out. She wouldn't leave, and then he wouldn't leave because he was so attached to his mom to go back to the grandparents, and so he was always fighting, always trying to defend mom, her honor, and but at that point, she's lost. So, but he was trying to help her. So it was I think that was one of the most heart-wrenching. And then we had young girls that were already prostituting at the age of 14, 15 years old. We'd catch them with stacks of money on them. Just horrific environments, child abuse. The gang culture was very strong in that area, but these are at-risk youth. And, that's my passion, and it started there. Why did I want to begin my own school? It started in that environment where they didn't have enough. We didn't have the services. We didn't have anything to try to. The only thing that they had was us, and the educators there doing their best to try to impact their lives. I loved being a teacher. I loved doing special programs, even when I got outside of the alternative setting and was in the public setting as a middle school teacher. I loved it. School choice is important because eventually my husband and I divorced, and I became a single mom. I was able to keep the house, our home, that my children grew up in, and they were still 9, 10, and 13. So I didn't have the option to move. My income, even though I was a school teacher, my income would not enable me to move to a better school district because that was the only income I had. I still had to make sure that they were fed, and clothing and shoes, and the option was not there. So the change that I experienced from being a divorced mom to a single mom, rather, my kids were in private school, and then we had to pull them out. I think I was still married then, but it was a change, but it was coming. Some things were happening in the background as far as the relationship and everything, but my kids were in private school, and then eventually we could not afford to keep them there. So the move to public was very traumatic. And I knew the area that they were going into. Some were going into the 5th and 6th grade intermediate system, and then the youngest was going into elementary. Now the elementary school was a positive experience, but when you get to the 5th and 6th grade, they're being exposed to the things that a Christian mom would not want them to be exposed to. So the transition that my children experienced was a lot of bullying, a lot of the I don't talk like you, I don't sparkle like you do, as far as dressing a certain way or having the special tennis shoes. So it was a lot of pressure on them. And then even for myself, with trying to keep up with, the high-priced tennis shoes. Sorry. I don't believe, I do not believe that they did well. And even though for most of their lives they grew up in a two-parent household, but by the time they turned 9, 11, and 13, it was really challenging for them. School choice is very important because if I had the finances to move, which I was in the process of moving, but then God told me this was not a good time because he was paying the child support, but he just started flaking out. And so I was receiving nothing. So I was raising my kids on a teacher's salary that paid the bills. And we were blessed, but I could not give my kids all of the bells and whistles, maybe that other households could, because we were getting ready to move off of 290 in the Cypher area. And it was a nice neighborhood, and I could have afforded it if I'd had the income. And when you talk about school choice, I think that it's a shame that we have to move out of our communities into a white area to get a better education, and it should not be. And so when we talk about, for instance, my school, I told my friend, I said, my school will be free. It will be a free educational system, but it will have all of the needs that every student needs. But my target audience is the at-risk kids. They are the population because they need it. They need the structure. They need hope. They need an educational system that will not fail them. And parents need that choice. They should not have to feel like they're trapped. Teachers should not have to feel like they're trapped. This is multifaceted. This parent choice and school choice is everything. It's everything for the teachers. It's everything for the students. It's everything for the parents. It's everything for the community. It has to be something that's going to affect everyone. Any school that any of us create, it has to affect the whole family, the whole community. I believe that people of color have the intelligence, have the wherewithal, and they know what's right for their children to make a decision about school choice. They want this option. I wanted the option to be able to put my children in schools that had up-to-date technology, had the books and the program and the curriculums that they needed in order to pull out the innate intelligence that they have. And so, yes, every parent in my community, in African American community, in Hispanic communities, any people, all people should have that choice, and they want it because sometimes they do feel trapped. I felt trapped. I wanted to move so badly because I didn't have any options. I didn't have any options, and I needed more options for my children. For me, having my own school has been a burn, and it's been too long. It's been 10 years or more of me wanting this. So teachers, you have to create this opportunity, not just for yourself, not just looking at the money, but what do you want to do? What do you see yourself doing? How are you going to affect change? How are you going to change your community? How are you going to help the kids that you cry over at night because you hurt? You hurt for them because you know that this is going on. Something that's not right in the home is going on. But the kids are frustrated. The parents are frustrated. You're frustrated. But we have to do something about it. We have to create those special schools that reach all kids and then reach the whole family and then reach the community, because we cannot change what's going on right now without doing something. And you just have to move. You just have to do it. Just make up your mind and just get it done.